Hey everyone, and welcome back to Abyssine. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most disturbing stories imaginable from deep within a cave. A narrow, dark, nearly forgotten passage somewhere in the rural United States. 5 explorers move ahead in silence, until a single misstep turns the entire expedition upside down in just seconds. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. The morning of October 7th, 2001 started like many other fall Sundays in upstate New York. The Gage Caverns, a natural limestone cave system near the town of Schoharie, were well known for attracting adventurers fascinated by the underground world. Around 10:30 a.m., 5 friends arrived at the cave entrance: Edward Galbavy, Kevin Shaw, Shioku Kudo, Adam Dobson, and J.J. Bradingham. The group included both experienced cavers and curious newcomers, all excited to explore the mysterious landscape. The spot had a reputation among local explorers for having both dry sections and wet passages where small streams still trickled. The friends had prepared carefully. They wore helmets with mounted headlamps, carried backup flashlights and extra batteries, along with bottled water and some light snacks. Their clothes were rugged and ready for dirt: old jeans, long-sleeve shirts, and sturdy boots with good traction to avoid slipping on damp surfaces. The more seasoned members carried small backpacks with basic emergency supplies, including first aid kits. Before entering, they checked their gear one last time and signed the cave's logbook, a crucial safety measure to show who's inside and when they're expected to exit. The outside temperature was around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, a typical autumn chill, but they knew the cave would stay at a constant 52 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. At around 11 a.m., they began the descent through the main entrance, a dark crack in the hillside that quickly swallowed the daylight. The first chamber was spacious enough for all 5 to stand comfortably, but as they ventured deeper, the corridors narrowed. They chose to explore the dry section first, which included a tricky stretch known as the balls down crawl, a tight tunnel that required crawling flat on one's stomach. In some spots, it was necessary to exhale completely just to squeeze through the gaps. The first 2 hours went smoothly. They took pictures, chatted about the rock formations, and enjoyed the eerie atmosphere. Around 1 p.m., they returned to a larger area known as the amphitheater, a chamber where several paths converged. It was about the size of a small classroom and tall enough for everyone to stand upright. There they took a break to eat, rest, and plan their next move. That's when a small opening in the rock wall caught the attention of Shioku Kudo, a 28-year-old graduate student with only a few cave explorations under her belt. She became curious about a horizontal gap that seemed to lead into another chamber. The opening was about 24 inches wide and 18 inches high, just large enough for a slim person to slip through sideways. Being the smallest in the group, Kudo volunteered to check it out. She laid on her side and slowly started inching her way inside. But right from the beginning, things started going wrong. What looked like a straight passage actually curved sharply to the right just a few feet in, something invisible from the outside. To continue, Kudo had to twist her body, with her torso now facing the new direction while her legs remained aligned with the entrance, forming a right angle. Things got serious quickly. The passage narrowed even more right where her chest was pressed against the rock. When she tried to move forward or back, she realized she was completely stuck. The rocks were pressing painfully against her ribs, making it hard to breathe. The jagged surface scraped her sides, and her breath grew shallow. She called out for her friends, trying to stay calm, but panic began to rise. Kevin Shaw and Edward Galbavy were the first to try and help. They offered instructions, suggested new angles, and tried pulling her by the legs or pushing from the shoulders, but nothing worked. Every attempt seemed to wedge her in even more. The 90-degree turn had created a natural trap, easy to enter, nearly impossible to exit. The pressure on her ribcage was making it hard to breathe, and she couldn't move her arms to help herself. After many failed attempts, it became clear they needed professional help. The constant 52 degrees Fahrenheit temperature in the cave posed another risk. Without being able to move, Kudo would start to lose body heat fast, increasing the danger of hypothermia. Shaw volunteered to exit the cave and call for help, while the others stayed with her, trying to keep her conscious and in good spirits. He moved quickly through the cave and emerged around 1:30 p.m. As soon as he had cell reception, he called emergency services and gave a detailed report of the situation and Kudo's location inside the cave. Specialized cave rescue teams were mobilized, including paramedics and emergency technicians. Back inside, Kudo's discomfort kept worsening. The pressure on her ribs made every breath agonizing. The hard ground made her arm and hip go numb. The darkness, the tight space, and the uncertainty took a toll on her mentally. By 2:15 p.m., the first rescuers reached the cave entrance. They brought ropes, communication gear, medical supplies, and tools for clearing rock. They quickly organized into teams and headed toward the amphitheater. By 3 p.m., the first medical team reached Kudo. A paramedic checked her vital signs. She had been stuck for nearly 2 hours, her lips turning blue from cold and restricted breathing. They tried similar techniques to those used earlier: gentle tugs, coordinated pushes, lubricant to reduce friction, and even rocking motions to free her, but her twisted and compressed position made any movement impossible. As night fell, more specialized rescuers arrived with advanced tools. They set up bright lighting to better see the situation and coordinated communications for the ongoing operation. By 5 p.m., nearly 4 hours had passed since Kudo got trapped, and her condition was increasingly concerning. The pain was intense and the cold exhausting. At 7:20 p.m., two experienced cavers, Joe Armstrong and Ken Fortuan, arrived with tools designed for tight spaces like chisels and handheld drills. They realized the only option was to remove some of the rock surrounding Kudo. It was delicate and risky work. One wrong move could cause a collapse or release dust that would make it even harder for her to breathe. They carefully identified the safest areas to chip away. Over the next hour and a half, they slowly removed small pieces of rock inch by inch. Kudo remained conscious but was growing increasingly exhausted. She had now been stuck for almost 8 hours, with her body compressed and air supply dwindling. Finally, shortly after 9 p.m., Armstrong and Fortuin managed to clear enough space to free her. The pain was intense as blood returned to areas that had been compressed for so long. She was immediately wrapped in thermal blankets and treated for hypothermia and crush injuries. Her ribs were badly bruised and parts of her body had gone numb. Before starting the return trip, the team gave Kudo time to recover. She sipped warm liquids and rested for about an hour. Once she felt strong enough, they helped her back through the cave. At 10:20 p.m., nearly 9.5 hours after getting trapped, Shioku Kudo finally emerged from the Gauge Caverns into the cold night air. An ambulance took her straight to the hospital, where she underwent tests and received care. Amazingly, despite everything she went through, Kudo didn't suffer any permanent damage. Her injuries were limited to severe bruising, temporary nerve compression, and the psychological scars from the experience. After the ordeal, local experts like Tom Engel noted that there had been some confusion during the early stages of the rescue about how long Kudo had been stuck, which may have delayed the full-scale response. He emphasized that in cave rescues, if someone isn't freed within 15 minutes, external help should be called right away. In the end, Shioku survived a true nightmare. If you enjoyed this story, click the video on your screen now to watch another cave exploration that went horribly wrong. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.